you.
So it's now time for everyone's most favorite part of the video, which is where I open up everything. But first, let me actually describe what I think about this. And honestly, comparing the lineup is honestly very difficult. Even when Javier asked me which year is actually better in terms of what they have to offer, it's very hard for me to answer because they have their own pros and cons. On the Comic Con side, you have to pay a base $35 to enter inside, but then you gotta remember, this is an event that's for like anime people and cosplayers and artists to collaborate, join up and stuff like that lah. Last thing on everyone's mind is just to buy Tiny buses and stuff. And to be fair, Tiny also released a lot of local inspired merch, like you have the keychain, the stickers, the card game, all based on the local machine. That's actually interesting because I thought those would probably just be a Hong Kong thing. But then the buses, obviously they are quite lacking in that category. They got the Lush Green B9, they have the Pixel E500, which is finally happening, a true godsend. The Robot Machines Ad version also, and likewise they also have some other interesting ones like the Lego E500 MMC, which Zach decided to big brain and do it during a bus tour, and also the RC BAL, which honestly I really feel like getting. It's honestly quite fun to have, but then you know it's a kid's toy, but it's quite fun. It's like a cool little thing to actually play around and have fun with.
This is a fully sporty vehicle that I can definitely fit inside and drive.
And then on the other hand, you have Toycon, which is honestly the more trademark event, which really doesn't make sense because in the past you see Tiny being involved in Toycon itself. And to be honest, it's a great idea lah because SG Toycon Expo. And honestly, Toycon also has its own pros and cons. This year they are in a different venue, they are not at Dhoby Ghaut, and it does seem like it's not that cramped, but then how they handled the event was questionable. For some reason, they extended the queuing for VIP by another hour, so the public only entered at 11. But then you also have to remember that at 12 o'clock they had the MRT train giveaway stuff. So that means the first set of names that got chosen during that lucky draw is most likely the people that are involved in media and the people involved in VIP. Also, Toycon team, if you're watching this, please make me media people next year. Thanks. Anyways, people have to stand there for quite some time and it stretched all the way to the MRT exit. The staff have to move the queue back and forth. There's literally a guy on Facebook that's actually trying to file a lawsuit to the management because he also waited for quite long. But then to be fair, the selection of stuff that Masterpiece and the other vendors at the event had was quite interesting. They had quite a lot of varieties. They had other major brands like Majoret involved. You have Dream Customs, which began pre-ordering their Seletar Depot bus mat. But then on the Masterpiece side, you have the more interesting buses like the A22 SMRT livery, the SG Toycon Ad, they have the N12, they have the SBS Transit CDGE, they also have the MRT, and also some of the other accessories that go along with it like the bus stop and the MRT track. Yeah, so starting off, I bought this at Comic Con, which is only the E500 MMC 12-meter silver, which is your SMRT 190. I also bought a Lush Green B9 tail, but that's for a future project. When the time is right, I'll do another video talking about it because it's a very special project that I've been working on. And then you have Toycon. I bought Goodie Bag B because obviously you have two of the buses here already. You have the N12 and you have the A22. Also inside the Goodie Bag B is this calendar, which honestly looks pretty cool. And you also would have this 164 Singapore police van, which I won't show in this video because everyone is here for buses, not vans. And you also have this very cool QB keychain. But yeah, generally this is all what you would generally get inside Goodie Bag B. There is another goodie bag that's available if you have bought. Basically, Goodie Bag A has the train the 15th anniversary fire truck, and they say that if you are actually happen to be the first 150 or 200 people that got set A, you have a Certis Cisco van or something, and you will also have this is like a coffee table book that's produced by the Singapore School and Private Hire Bus Owners Association, and the book is actually generally in Chinese. Imagine not being Chinese literate, and it shows a lot of stuff, and I think it's a really interesting read. Pity this is a loan version that I have from a friend. Oh, actually it's also in English. I'm dumb. I'm looking through this for the first time. It looks very interesting. It talked about BSEP. They also have an advertisement for a very dated Rosa. Oh my god, look at that stretched. Okay. How do they still have a bunch of this lying around in 2023 is a interesting thought. Woodlands Transport. Oh wait, hold up. Where's ANS? Oh wait, yeah, this is very dated. It says go to the Scania branch and submit your form before 31st July 2015. It's 2023. This is actually very dated. Legit. How do they have like this kind of books still in their storage even 8 years on? Oh hey, Zhongtong is China Bus and Coach Manufacturer offers express bus, passenger bus, here it comes. Obviously, apart from whatever I showed, there's a bunch of other stuff they have, like this CDGE. Finally, they released the SBS Livery one. I said it in September, and they finally did it. And to spice things up, they have this added randomness where you can have two different Testo variants, one in red, one in white, because Service 21, it serves bus stops along St. Michael where they actually have two different directions serving at the same stop. Finally, I got one of these A22s. I didn't buy the ANS one because I'm not a huge ANS person, but this ad is pretty cool, so I decided to get it. They'll probably do it every year like how Tiny does it every year for IMX, but yeah. Now I think we can start the very long unboxing journey. I think this video is already quite long. So let's start off with the very first and only Tiny bus that I have actually bought that's with me currently, the E500 MMC 12m silver. You may be wondering why I didn't get the ad version. Well, because the ad version, I don't really like it. If you remember, they have this very long stripe thing that goes across here and then it goes behind. Yeah, I just don't like it. It looks really weird. I know they want to make it for the aesthetics of the ad, and I don't really like it per se lah. But then the only good stuff out of it is that it's a 857 EDS with a Chinese New Year scroll that's from Tower Base . But what to do, at least this is something that I have actually mentioned in the past also, a 190 Enviro 500. So same thing in the box, it's number 31 now. I even lost track. What we have been getting all year are all of the quote-unquote limited editions, but then they had a bunch of stock in the store afterwards for like months on end. Same stuff, Tiny, whatever, but then the Facebook, what? Okay, but seriously, yeah, same stuff lah, blah blah blah. We've seen this box thousands and thousands of times. Let's fast game open up and check out what it has to offer. Damn it. Yeah, great. Again, every time I use the scissors, right, I thought I would actually cut it very nicely. No, every time I always rip the cardboard out. Okay. Don't know why I always do that every time. Damn, the hologram. Yeah, it's the same plastic that we've seen every time. Shouldn't be surprised at all. Now what's surprising is whether I can open this every time. And I did. No problem at all. So here's the SMRT Enviro 500, and yeah, while it looks like your normal Enviro, you can start to see some of the very questionable things that Tiny did to cover up from its Hong Kong based mode that it has. So for example, if you can see here, if I use a light source in here to make it even more obvious, you can see that there is a small window section here that's covered up. And likewise, if you compare say a Singapore and a Hong Kong Enviro, you'll realize that window section is different doesn't exist in the Singapore one They try to cover that up, but you can still see it. And this is, I think, one of the most major problems that I have with Tiny recently. I kind of dislike how Tiny just throws its Singapore like releases to like not its priority. What do I mean? Remember Diecast Expo 3 months ago where they had this Euro 6, where they have this very questionable back? Look at this, it doesn't even look like Euro 5, I mentioned this before. And likewise, the ad variants for some reason lack the grills, all sides of the bus. And guess what? And it's even worse on the B9TL, where they actually had very limited stock. And even so, they can fuck it up the worst way possible. The test unit that they post on Facebook literally has the door sticker still present there for some god reason. And the worst part is, even if you have 50 limited bus, I think 50, which you have to spend at least $250 because you have to buy that gigantic robot display to go along with it. The 50 of them, even in the production state, they can even fuck it up the worst way possible. There are literally pictures on Facebook showing that the ad, which went all the way to somewhere here, lacked the blinkers for some odd reason and also start to tear off. It's just a slipshod job, and honestly it's very disappointing. And need not I remind you that this kind of front for E6 exists at a time when they already had slightly better fronts for the facelift A95s that they have in Hong Kong. This is why I feel like I lost a lot of trust in Tiny. What I feel that they are doing is that they're just trying to treat all of the releases now as a cash grab. They see that the prices of these buses can inflate very significantly in Singapore. So what they do is they try to do out these cash grabs. I don't know if it's because if they have very limited time or whatever, but it just feels very blipshot. Like all of this little stuff, why not just make a new mold? I see that there are new molds that they're gonna make. This kind of little slipshot jobs that they try to cover up, it's just honestly disappointing lah. These local buses, when you first buy it, it probably costs like $20. Now the price slightly increased up to $23. If you go on second-hand websites like Carousel or eBay, these prices can go significantly higher. 35 is probably the minimum you can get. It will only go higher up till there. If you feel incredibly broke, you can even be losing up to hundreds of dollars if you didn't buy it original, which is why I actually regret with this B9TL. I bought this from Let's Play at like $45 and it was originally $20 when it was released in 2021. When I first buy tiny buses like this, or actually this, which was the first one that I bought back in 2018, way before this existed, I thought, hey, what if they do a Singapore release? Yeah, Singapore release they did. But then they decided to do a very slipshod job, and honestly it's very disappointing. Like they literally have better molds for this kind of buses. They had fucking better molds for this, but then they still give us this kind of front. If you want to represent a good enough bus, don't make it like that. Otherwise, I'll be buying buses like this instead from SGBC. It's just really disappointing. When you have better stuff on the table, don't just relegate and go back to whatever bullcrap that you can do. It really makes it feel like as if they are just trying to gain a quick buck. These are collectibles after all. This would, like what I say, I know that it's very expensive to make this kind of molds lah. I know that it costs probably in the thousands to actually make a brand new mold from scratch and actually do the negative for the mold and actually subsequently afterwards cast it like that to make sure that it's a return on your investment. But still, I know that there are such shortcomings, but we can't do anything much. We're just a consumer. We buy the stuff and we can't do much. But yeah, anyways, back to this Enviro because I think I've talked and ranted too much about this. This Enviro comes with this sticker, which I didn't show you. It has the SMRT and the Enviro 500 sticker behind. Because behind, guess what? It's absent. So yeah, nice. And like what I say, if I don't feel like it, I can get myself an SGBC E500. This one is the first new one that they released in June this year, and they honestly have a lot of potential in the market. It's just that how they do it is also a modified version of ATM molds. So to be fair, we are all in the same boat. But then even so, it's still significantly better in detail. It looks significantly rounder compared to what you see here. And when it comes to color reproduction, you can start to see the color differences. The SGBC one is more yellow, while the tiny one looks more on the orange side, even though I think it's probably something down to the paint lah. After all, SMRT had like actual images of how the pixels and the color range actually look like, so it's probably now boils down to only how the image is actually printed out. But still, behind, I can see some inaccuracies already. You can see that the back has a significantly bigger chin compared to this one. Honestly, if you tell me which one I'll choose, actually, to be fair, I would choose this one if I want more accuracy, but if I want it to be chunkier and more like kid friendly, definitely this one. This one doesn't have mirrors, but there is already a solution. It's from everyone's favorite Heejin friend, not me, Zach. Zach made this windscreen add-ons for your tiny buses, like what you can see here. This is actually for the B9TL, and I bought two for the B9TL because I was actually intending to do this for that project I've been talking about. How the hell are they gonna actually put it on the bus itself? I don't see any like adhesive, but whatever, I can go and ask Zach one day if I feel like it. And to be fair, I mentioned how it's kind of like a rebatch one. Here's a slightly older one that they released in 2019 that I bought, and when I compare it with the Enviro, it looks like it's the same body. Obviously it's the same shell, same mold, just that the grey section on top here, I don't know whether I chipped it or not, but it looks way more inside than usual. That is very strange. You can see that right on top here, there's this weird gap on top here. I don't know if it's a defect. One thing I don't really like about their Enviro is that they have this very weird curve, and it doesn't feel very curved. It's like they just do like a 5-degree versus a 15-degree curve, like what you can see somewhere here. And then when you compare it to like say this SGBC one, everything is actually in the same degree position if I put it side by side here. So that's kind of my biggest pet peeve about this Enviro. Other than that, the mold is pretty okay. It's just that if you want to make it to SG spec, probably don't try to hide it off like this. Don't try to hide it off like this. If they got all of those right next year or sooner or later, then it's great. So now we're moving on to the main part of this video, the one that everyone is looking forward to. The Toycon stuff. Because on the Toycon front, Masterpiece released some really good bangers like this, like what I showed you. This, and this. I won't really show the other stuff that they have. Maybe I will just quickly open up the calendar and the Scania at the end. But I think you can kind of see how the Scania is like. Just this acrylic here with this very nice design on 63. Nothing to really send home much about. And the calendar, if I quickly take a quick look at it, it is a calendar that actually has some very cool images of some of the buses that they have, like this Subaru Impreza, which I don't have, Ninja van, Durian van that they have, the 0405, a car park scene with some of the Chariot and Get Go vehicles, Subaru Forester XT, the SCDF ambulance, the Scania, and the MRT train with the modified lighting, which that one you need to modify and do like some wiring to it, and next year's calendar. Imagine they put on the calendar which day is Toycon next year. Oh, they do! 15 December. Actually, no, 13 December next year. Damn, time to apply leave on that day. I thought that, what a cool detail. I was like thinking in my mind, like, would they put Toycon next year's date here? Oh, they do. 13 December. Easy game for me. Better make sure that the venue is actually reasonable enough and it's not like the actual shopping mall. I thought that the place would be big enough for them to host this kind of stuff, but then the queue still stretched that far. What a disappointment. And likewise, they don't even tell you when's Diecast Expo. That one you can just cry and wait till the time comes up. But yeah, generally it's a pretty cool calendar. It gives you can even write a summary on what you want to write and stuff like that. Even has a note section. Okay, for real, the real stuff. Let's start off with eeny, meeny, miny, mo, whatever crap. I'm closing my eyes, I'm picking this one. This is the Zhongtong N12, which is the China coach and bus manufacturer that offers express bus, passenger bus. Honestly, it's really a shocker that they decided to choose the N12, but they have a very good reason for it lah. Because obviously in Singapore, 4010 wasn't the only N12 that is in Singapore lah. There are other variants around, like the NUS ISB variants, the Tongta ones that does the RWS 8 service, and so on and so forth. Honestly, it won't be a surprise next year if they drop the BYD B12, because that will most likely see a PTO production batch either way. So that will be actually cool lah when that time comes. You can just dream about what it looks like. And I think that also has more fun stuff to do because they had like all the NUS ads and whatnot in there. This is number 27, same stuff in here, Masterpiece collectibles here, and I felt like the design kind of changed a bit. I don't know why, but they never untransparentize the bus. You know how like the OG Masterpiece ones, they would not cover it and you can still see the livery. Yeah, this one is just grey in here. I think they want to make it more visible. Likewise, at below here, same stuff. Tell you long-term exposure may cause damage, color and specifications may vary. If I just open it likewise, through here, actually I don't even need these scissors because for some reason, this is already easily openable, which is actually good. You don't really need to mess with the plastic with the scissors. And likewise, here you can see they give you the water slide decal. Here you have the SG Love bus and the go ahead ones in here. I forgot to point out that the SMRT one is actually only the 2014 era. It doesn't give you the newer ones, but I'll talk about that later. And even so, the box is so easy to open. Look at that. It's partly because it's a thinner plastic. I can just open it like that, no sweat. Easy game, and quality check doesn't look like it's very broken. And it's actually pure metal. It feels heavier actually. This is the N12 on service 3. Nice trending flavor. I literally chased it on the first day. But yeah, you can see this is quite interesting. 3 doors. And on the side here, here's the side, here's the back, and here's the top, which honestly looks quite detailed. But then people complain that it looks quite standard and quite goofy, something to this kind of levels. But yeah, honestly, I wish it has more indentation but it's still a China bus and coach manufacturer bus after all, not a Volvo or MAN. One of the weird things that I realized about Masterpiece SDs is that their mirrors are incredibly long. I think this is fine, but on the A22 it's worse, and I'll get to that when I show you later. For some odd reason, right, they decided to put the PIDS screen on, even though you know when the bus is moving, the PIDS screen would actually be off, like what you see here. It's probably that 5 seconds where the door closes and the PIDS shut off, but yeah, it looks pretty cool still. And yeah, even though in real life I have questions about this bus, to be fair, it's better than the Ankai, which is another China coach and bus manufacturer. But yeah, it's still nice and it's quite worth to have in the collection. I always say that every time. Moving on is the A22s, which is actually in a longer box. I'm probably going to open this back and back because both are more or less the same molds. So on top here we have the ANS A22 event bus. It is in that ad that they have for this year. You can see 15-17 December, blah blah blah. Same stuff generally in the box, just at the back they tell you that their official transport partner is ANS. And this is actually the very first ANS bus that I have. I know they released the other A22, the one with delivery, but I didn't buy that because I'm not interested. There was also the BAL that they have, but I'm not also interested in that. So yeah, this shall be the first ANS Masterpiece ANS bus that I have. And likewise, on the other hand, we have the 1110 A22 bus. Just that this is based on the SMRT livery, and this is actually better because the decal actually features all the 3 SMRT logo variants. The old one that they have up till like 2014, the one that they used from like 2014 to 2019, and the one from 2019 onwards. Rather, if you have the tiny one, you only have the 2014 one, which is honestly, suck it up lah. Or unless you take one of the newer ones and then just paste it over on your Enviro. That can also work, I guess. Die cast quality, honestly, the metal is amazing. Just to show you, there's actually a difference here. This is A2252, this is A22E3. E3 probably Event 3. This marked at number 52, like what I said, but then E3? Then what's E1 and E2? Well, only time will tell. Oh wait! Sorry, my bad. I remember. If I'm not wrong, E1 and E2 is actually the Tower Citaro and the, I think, 164 E500 that we had last year. This one actually fits nicer. It fits along the stripes. Damn. Okay, let's open up. I don't need this again. Here's one. And for some reason this one suddenly don't have the slot holes. I have to use this all over again. Ah, damn it. So here are the two buses side by side. One very big difference that you can see between the models is that because the Toycon one is printed in an additional layer of stickering, that's why they have to use this sticker here such that it won't damage the bus. It honestly is, I think, better than the sheet of plastic that they had. At least this one wraps around it pretty evenly. So yeah, while on the A22, the standard SMRT one, it's just like that. Oh, it feels so surreal because I actually never bought one of the A22s. So side by side, you can see the biggest detail difference that they have is that for some odd reason, the Toycon one here, or I think the ANS one in general, had the MAN Lion City badging in here while the SMRT lacks it here. Because I didn't really have the time to talk about these buses in general, the Moat is actually pretty okay. It's just that the mirror is honestly really long. That's what many people complaints were, and it's also mine. It's just significantly longer than how it's supposed to be. And even here on the Toycon one and the SMRT one, it's not really fixed up. So you can see side by side, on the left is SMB 209B, on 188 on the right is 8932. I accidentally said 9040, but it's 8932. SG Toycon 2023. All the very nitty gritty details are all present. Like again, I forgot to point out the wheelchair, the giveaway whatever sticker, the wheelchair sticker, the emergency exit stuff here and there. Behind you have the giveaway and stuff here, which looks very crooked. I even straightened myself here. You can see it's very crooked. I don't know why, but yeah, no choice what to do about it. Here on the side, it's the same thing. You have this white It's just the standard SMRT livery. Honestly, I thought if they can do this, why not they do LF? I really wanted the LF one because I went to the GA18 A22 tour, and honestly, and not gonna lie, it was actually the first private op tour that I went lah, and it was a cool experience. I think by the time you're watching this, or a few weeks after this video drops, I will have done a show about it. It should be linked already. If you haven't watched it, it should be showing up on the screen right now. So yeah, quite a cool bus. And likewise, the Toycon one, the details are also present, except the separation chamber, because this is from a Comet Maxi. Apart from that, it's already as closely detailed as possible. Generally, it's like that. The only pet peeve I have with this ad, even though the boss spent $2,000 to actually make this ad and get it pasted, is that for some reason the back has this weird area that they didn't paste. They didn't, for some reason, do this section of the bus, and they didn't actually do it up to the hair. But whatever, it's still a good enough attempt. This is probably the start of a lot of other private op ads that you may see on A22 or LF buses. Will be interesting when the time comes up. But yeah, generally it looks very detailed and it's nice to have. That's why I buy this. I don't buy the ANS one because I know that this will be coming. So moving on should be the last one that I'll unbox today, because I don't really want this police van. I'm not a police enthusiast, I'm a bus enthusiast. This is on Service 21, and the selling point during the event was that they had the two different Desto variants. You have the red one and you have the white one, because like what I said at the start, Service 21 and a bunch of other Semi-Co service and services that goes through areas are bi-directional. When they are operating under SBS Transit, Desto colors that is easily identifiable, and it can easily differentiate between which direction you're going so that you won't get confused lah. That's basically the point. And likewise, Service 21 is no exception. It goes through Semi-Cos. It goes around the loop like in both directions. And so during Toycon, what they said was that it's a random game of luck where you can get either directions. But then in the box, they don't really tell you which direction you're getting. They don't really mention it here. You can't see it from the Desto. You have to open it to find out. And that's everyone's problem. Some guy bought like 10 of this and only found out that all 10 of them is actually one direction. I can't remember which direction. I think it's the Pasir Ris one. That's how stupid it is. It's just a game of luck. It's fun, but then if you want to collect both variants, good luck on you. This is like that durian van, but like it's multiplied to a really bigger case lah. So yeah, let's find out which variant I have. Nice mystery. Actually, I can just pull this off. There we go. I can just this. Actually, I realized something, if they can put the SMRT logo on the train, right, for the train sets, and they can get permission from LTA, right, why can't they get permission from SMRT to do the bus ones? I just realized, intrusive thoughts are it's worse than the other ones. Probably rip and break the box already at this point. Ah crap, I broke it already. I ripped it out. GG. I ripped the box already. I like, oh crap. Oh, GG.com. GG.com. Cry about it. Well, this is illegal. This is illegal unboxing methods. Never mind. I think that does it. Oh crap. There we go. That's why we move forward every day. And there. This. Oh great. Oh great, I got the red one that goes to Pasir Ris. Here look, it's the red one. Driver be surprised. It's a CDGE, what do you expect? Hong Kong people will be steaming over this as I show you this right now. And honestly, this is the dream that I wanted in September. I didn't want a lush green, I wanted a SBS livery because it looks so cool. But then now when I look at this and that it is on 21, which is I think the starting service for the CDGEs, I kind of wish that they did the wheelchair ad that they first debuted, because it looks really cool. That one actually looks equally nice. That one is like nice, sweet, and even has the Desto there. Good optics included. SBS 7305B, nice. Very cool little bus that we have in here. And side by side, obviously, there are two different liveries from two different eras. That's why I don't see a wheelchair sticker there. And this one is obviously the very early days when they got the bus. And I'm satisfied enough already. Actually, I'm very satisfied in this case. So yeah. So overall, that's more or less it for what everyone has to offer this year. To put it, this year is pretty interesting in terms of what Singapore bus collections that we have. Obviously, it's more than this. Like what I said, there's the Diecast Expo. There's the other ones they have. And there's also the better ones that Tiny released also like this A95 So honestly, this year it's still good enough. And also not to forget, we got our SG BC stuff. The stuff that we have this year is already the most that we've ever seen over the past few years. There's definitely a lot more interesting stuff that will be out next year You obviously have that Tiny A22, the SG BC Lush Green E500, and you also have definitely a lot more interesting buses on the Masterpiece front. But yeah, this year honestly has been a lot more money lost on local buses than ever That means my money flew considerably a lot. Actually, I'm not even surprised. I think I bought a lot more buses this year than any other year. There's that 3-part video that I filmed in September. I haven't even have time to edit that, but I will get it done someday. Give me some time because I still need to get used to NS stuff. But either way, it's still an interesting year in terms of what die-cast models we have. And honestly, I hope that more will be out on its way next year. So yeah, if you are new here, do remember to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. Because next year when all this major event drops, I will definitely get this video out done as soon as possible. But yeah, that's it for the moment. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.
The first time